Hello, IGN. My name is Jose Otero, and I'm here with Brian Parnell of No Matter Studios. And this is Pray for the Gods, which is, Brian, give folks the elevator pitch. What is Pray for the Gods?
The elevator pitch?
Yes.
So this is Pray for the Gods. It's our game that we've been working on. And the idea that the elevator pitch is you are sent to a frozen island. It's been a never-ending winter, and there's some big baddies here. And we kind of throw you in here, and you got to figure it out.
Got it. And there's part survival, part inspirations from games like Shadow of the Colossus, as much as there is DayZ, but not to an extent that's sort of overwhelming. And you and I talked about that a little bit before recording, but just like to give folks examples, like what are you doing right now?
Yeah, so I mean, I think when we've mentioned DayZ, people think, oh, I'm got to find baked beans, I got to run around all the time, and that's not where we came from with this game. You know, the idea was that we wanted players to kind of have their own story to tell, and effectively like DayZ in a sense, where you just start an island and we used to start with nothing, and from there, you know, you find some things, pick up some loot or whatever. But there's always there really wasn't as much of a purpose in DayZ. For us, we're trying to give the player a purpose and a story to tell, and in the end, come out of it with their own story that is hopefully going to be much different. Given the premise that we're putting them into.
Okay, and then your protagonist, if you can give us some information on her for folks at home.
She's still pretty mysterious. I mean, I kind of like it that way, but the idea is that she's got her own story, obviously. We're going to hint a little bit of that in the future, but she's basically coming to this island. She sees some of her fallen heroes that have come before her, and I think for her it's going to be, you know, just as much of an exploration for the player as well to figure out what is going on and can she actually, you know, take on these impossible odds?
Mm-hmm. And so she is then a survivor somewhat.
Yeah.
Here we have an enemy. So who's this?
This is, at least internally, we refer to this as the Wraith. They definitely don't like you, and they make themselves known when they want to kill you.
Got it. All right, and you're picking up materials there. So was that wood or was
that? Yeah, I can actually take a look for you.
So this is a work in progress for folks at home, by the way. Like
this is
if you don't notice at the bottom left, pre-alpha.
Yes, pre-alpha, not even version 1. I mean, it's 0.1. But it's you know, you can make some wood, so I can make arrows on the fly. That's something that we want players to be able to do. Yeah. And you know, in future builds, we're going to let the players burn those arrows if they need to make warmth. So I'm going to keep trucking down.
Okay.
There's clearly more of these guys.
So the cold and sort of tying in with the theme of survival is something that the way it affects you in this game I have not seen done in many games that at least I have played. Just to talk to folks about it, right? The idea that, you know, this character, she can freeze to death out here. You have to be very conscious of what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, even right now, like, I'll go walk through some of this deeper snow. I mean, it definitely starts taking us what we call kind of our exhaustion system, and that's something we've been working on for a while. I know Tim's put a lot of time into it, and Chen and I have been giving feedback. But the idea is that you have so much, I guess, stamina or exhaustion that you can really expel. And the idea is you're going to be trucking around and taking in a lot of the damages, or not damage, but incurring through colder weather, through, like if I start sprinting a lot, you know, like here, we start kind of telling the player through some very subtle icons and visuals that, you know, you're going to start getting more tired. You can't run forever. You're not going to be ducking and rolling forever. You know, the idea is that, you know, every move that you do, everything that you do in this game has a consequence, and those are based off your own decisions. So as a player, you know, with the systems we have, you know, cold starts. It's almost, I wouldn't say it's like a damage over time, but it certainly does impact your player. And we're going to give them opportunities, you know, through exploration to find outfits that can help them with the resistances towards cold, the resistance maybe towards damage, and then, you know, we give them opportunities to, you know, like we're going to be heading towards maybe some shelter. So you can find places that have shelter, hunker down in them really quickly, maybe find some notes or some stories from other fallen heroes. But the idea is that they're going to be able to take what they find and improve themselves.
Got it. Then I do want to talk as well about sort of the direction, both artistically, but also even what you're doing with the camera right now. Which can you talk a little bit more about, like, inspirations for why you chose to present it that way, like what you're trying to sort of bring out of the player or have them feel?
Yeah, I mean, Tim's worked very hard in the camera system, and I think, you know, we're really excited with how it's come about. And when we were talking about, how do we make this, obviously, one of our big inspirations clearly is Shadow of the Colossus. And one of the things we really liked about it was their camera system. I think some people had, maybe weren't as crazy about some of the cinematics, but we loved it. And that was something we really wanted to play. I think when you start, changing the camera angle, it can really start bringing in a lot of emotions and help with immersion. And so, the camera, as you walk into, like when we were there walking into the snow, it starts kind of, making you feel a little uneasy and sort of telling the player, like, not everything's right here. You need to be mindful of that. And we do that because we don't want to have to be putting, giant icons and prompts and things that are going to, have to be localized and have to be read a certain way. And it's just really to give the player that sense of immersion and that really sense that they're in control and we're merely here just trying to help them with their story.
Yeah, and if you look up at the cave wall, I mean, you told me about this a little earlier, but you are sort of using the environment to hint at things. This is one of the more obvious ones, but you mentioned some will not be as obvious.
Exactly.
And sort of painting the picture of what's happening in this world.
Yeah, so I mean, this one, we for the sake of the demo, we want players to maybe understand, hey, here's how you could maybe attack this big boss you're going to go fight. But there's also the idea that there's a lot to explore in this world, and we really want the story to be explored and not just told in a wall of text, right? Yeah. So, for us, I mentioned even Red Dead Redemption. I love the fact that when you were playing that game, you could find, kind of treasure maps or things that were handwritten or hand-drawn. So we really want to be able to give the player that sense that, like, hey, I saw this one iconic object, or I saw this very interesting looking thing, and I remember it, and then I found maybe, I pick up something from one of these, this dead person over here or fallen person over here, and I'm going to go pick up maybe a map and then look at that map and go find that object that I remember it was, and maybe there's a secret there. Maybe there's something that will tell me more about the story.
Okay. And so here we're getting some climbing action, and you're on your way to the boss of the vertical slice of this demo. So what can you tell folks at home about that boss? Because we're not going to show too much. We're actually going to pull out before.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. We do want to, of course. Yeah, this is still very much a vertical slice, but we want to kind of preserve that for folks, definitely. But yeah, what can you tell folks about that boss, or even some of the bosses they'll be fighting?
Yeah, I mean, I think for this first boss, it was definitely for us a technical hurdle. It was in a lot of ways a way for us to prove it to ourselves that, hey, we could do this. I think for a lot of people, they're always in disbelief when we explain to them, no, we're really 3 people that did this. And I mean, we're not trying to brag. We're just saying, like, look, this is hard to do. We understand that, and we understand where maybe people may not believe that it's possible. And when we first showed our first kind of pitch trailer, we had it working. It was certainly in a playable state, and we've spent a lot of time making that better. And this is that kind of the outcome of that. This is that guy that, he's not the culmination of all of our perfect concepts and everything, but in a lot of ways, he defines sort of our tech, how we're able to get where we need to go, and in a lot of ways, he's sort of our proof of concept. And so we were really excited when we were able to. Right now, this is exciting. I love this. I'm knocking down the dead bodies, and then they're frozen solid, and then pulling out arrows.
Yep.
So
you'll always need those.
You'll never run, and it never gets old. I mean, it feels so bad that there's these people that gave up, but they're still, they're giving me something out of it. But back to the boss, yeah, I mean, he's really been for us a proof of concept. And future bosses, I mean, we showed kind of that crazy crow dragon bird thing, and that's something we're really excited about. And I think it shows that we're definitely pushing ourselves further with design and with kind of the concepts that we're playing around with.
And so just for folks at home, the platforms you're coming on changed recently.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So originally, we were always looking at Windows Steam to be our first main platform. I mean, it offers a lot of services, and we knew we could definitely deliver that. Consoles were obviously something we really wanted to do, but I mean, I've been in the industry forever, and I remember always hearing, like, hey, consoles are really hard to develop on. They're really hard to port, or even to get it working. So we just figured immediately, like, hey, this is going to be a lot harder. We had the dev kits, and we had kind of looked at them and done a little bit of work, but we hadn't really ever pushed the full build on. And so when we put up our first initial stretch goals and stuff, we did that under the presumption that Tim was going to have to do a lot of the work on porting, and to do that we needed to hire additional help, like a world builder, so that Tim wasn't doing double duty. And what really happened was we sat down after hearing the feedback of our fans, like, please, you know, we got to get to the stretch goal. And I'm like, is there any way we can? Let's just see if we can get this on. Hell, you know, we got, you know, we're doing this Kickstarter for a month. Let's see if we can get it on. It's crazy. Had Chen stop what he was doing, had Tim stop what he was doing, and we basically, I mean, what? Tim got it done in a day on the Xbox, running, literally running. I'm not lying. We showed a video of it and everything, and then live, and then Tim and Chen got it working in 3 days on the PS4, and we were, I mean, blown away. That's really pretty right there.
Yeah, that's a good shot. So are you guys using Unity as your engine?
Yeah, we're using
nice. Okay.
We're using Unity. So, yeah, it's hard to talk and play.
No, for sure. Full respect. But but thanks for the breakdown, and thanks for showing off the game to our audience.
Yeah, no
so
problem.
Once again, guys, this is Pray for the Gods, which is coming to PC, Steam, PS4, Xbox One. Look for it. When's your target? When are you planning to have out?
We're looking for December 2017 for Windows, Steam, and then, like we've told in our stretch goals, obviously, consoles would be coming post-launch.
All right. And for more Pray for the Gods, you're already in the right place here at IGN.